and guests.
To my knowledge, you've been called I think the word was a theological buffoon by our
Yes.
dear friend, Mr. James White. So, is that
Mr.
true? You have a comment for that, or
Oh, I mean, I've been called a theological buffoon. I've been called a cult leader, a heretic, a Pelagian, um,
semi-Pelagian?
semi-Pelagian. Um, yeah, what's funny is when I come in with an argument and I challenge a position, the easiest thing to do if you're solid in your position is to just go, "Oh, Warren got it wrong. Here's why. Here's three reasons: A, B, C. Here's why he's wrong." I've never gotten that ever. Instead, I've gotten, "You're a cult leader." Okay. Let's say I am boiling and bubbling 50 gallons of Kool-Aid over here, and I'm getting ready for my followers. But let's just say I'm Jim Jones 2.0.
Mm,
Okay, cool. What about the point that I made?
mm,
What if I'm not a cult leader and I'm making that point? What if R.C. Sproul made that point?
mm-hmm.
What if John Chrysostom made that point? What if Leighton Flowers made that point? What
Mhm.
if Alistair Begg made that point? You have to address the substance. And dear brother James never addresses those. Instead, he runs from them. And the first time I believe it was the first time I encountered James, where he was engaging with me, was after my debate with Matt Slick. And in that debate, I introduced the undercutting defeater for total depravity, which I stole. What was it, Plantinga? His argument against naturalism. I stole that and modified it to argue against Calvinism because they have the same undercutting defeater. And then I also noted how their view corrupts the incarnation and is rightly identified in Scripture as the spirit of Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they're taking the mark of the beast, but that the doctrine is a doctrine of demons because it denies the incarnation and redemptive work of Christ. And so in that debate, Matt called me a heretic and a Pelagian and said he had all these degrees from a Calvinist seminary, but he never really interacted with the argument. After that debate, James went and did a debate review, and he said, "These are some really unique arguments from Warren, and he's coming at it from the other side. He's not on the West with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's not part of Rome and the Protestants. This is an Eastern style debate from Eastern Orthodoxy. It's a different anthropology." And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, how's he going to respond to this? I really was excited. At the time, I had respect for James, like more than I do. I still respect James, like for his debates against Muslims and his work on the King James only controversy and some of these things. His textual criticism, like there's things to respect about James. But back then I had more. And I was excited to hear his response to my argument. I remember running in and telling my wife and kids, I was like, "Hey, James is responding to me. Like, I can't wait to see what he thinks of my argument and like how he's going to like blow it to pieces."
Like a kid on Christmas. Yeah.
And he didn't. And so he just, and ever since then, it's been, "You're ugly and your mom dresses you funny" kind of responses from James. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like, what about the arguments? And you just don't get that from him. One of the things that I have noticed in our years of interaction now is, and we all have habits and ways of manners of speech and things. So once you get to know somebody really well, you kind of pick up on it, And James, he employs heavily in rhetoric and logical fallacies. And the more that I have familiarized myself with logical fallacies, the more I go, oh, I know what James is doing here. This is the non sequitur. Oh, I recognize this is the strum. Oh, this is the tu quoque. This is the Texas sharpshooter. This is, so I'm able to kind of go through and go, oh, look at all these logical fallacies.
Yep.
And then you go back and you listen to his older content, and he's been doing it for a long time. I just wasn't aware of it. And the more that I get familiar with him, the more that it's like, okay, James, like, let's set aside that. Let's go back to the heart of the issue. But no, I answer your question. I am not a cult leader.
Yeah.
If I am the worst cult leader. I don't even have Kool-Aid, right?
I'll do you one better. I don't even like Kool-Aid. So.
I don't have white robes. We're not waiting on a comet. I don't have
Do you
one
have
wife,
do you have
let
a
alone.
compound in Waco, Texas, out of curiosity?
That's right. I I think David Koresh actually played the guitar better than me. Okay, so I don't have a harem. Um,
Mm,
I don't have any of the fringe benefits of being a cult leader.
mm, mhm.
So I am the world's worst cult leader. It's true.
James, come on, get it. We'll host it here, and then no
It
one
would
will
be a
see
lot
it.
of
But
fun. It'd be a
yeah,
lot of fun. And
yeah.
like I said, I disagree with James on so much, but I care about him.
Mm,
And so I, we can. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes here, but I care about James, and I know what it's like to teach people what he's teaching them, and then to realize how wrong I was, and to be carrying that around decades later. So I want to, Lord willing, help him see that God is better than he realizes for his own sake, but then also for those that he has influence over. Um, so I would debate him because I care about James, but I cannot stand his doctrine.
mhm, mhm,
And one of the things I I think I'm decent at is distinguishing between the two.
mhm.
Sometimes when people will attack my doctrine, I'll take it personal. I'm human. I understand that tendency, but I really strive not to take it personal. And with James, I really try my very best not to make it personal. And I can't say I've always done that successfully. There are times where he pushes a button and I'm like, "You dirty dog, you know, you want to go personal? Let's
Yeah.
go personal. Get down in the mud with you, and I'll sling like the rest of them." But I really try my best to rise above that.
Okay. Well, look, the challenge is out, James. You have no excuse now. We the debates. Hey, it's set. If you want to come on.